Hey writers, so today we are working on poems. So you should have your paper that you wrote yesterday that had all of your senses on it, the feeling, seeing, smelling, taste, hearing, and touching. And you should have some words that you wrote down about your bubbles. You also need your big piece of thick white paper that was folded up in your bin that I gave you. You're going to use that today. And you're also going to need a pair of scissors. Let's see, what did I do with my scissors? Here they are. You're also going to need a pair of scissors and, of course, your magic pen. I have a pencil today, but you should have a pen and something to color with. It can be markers, crayons, colored pencils, something to color with today, okay? All right, so today we're actually going to write our poem about bubbles. So I found a couple of other poems to show you for examples. I don't want you to copy these poems, but I do want you to read these poems so that you can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. So let's read this one. Bubble, bubble, turn around. Bubble, bubble, lay on the ground. Bubble, bubble, float up high. Bubble, bubble, float towards the sky. Bubble, bubble, float down low. Bubble, bubble, land on my toe. Bubble, bubble, stop, stop, stop. Bubble, bubble, now go pop. So that one was repeating, and it also was rhyming. Yours can repeat and rhyme too, but it does not have to. Let's look at a different one. This one is a little bit shorter, and it's just called Bubbles, and it says, I like bubbles, shiny bubbles, round bubbles, fragile bubbles, bubbles that break, and bubbles that pop. I like bubbles. So, did you see any words that you wrote down on your Six Senses paper yesterday? I saw some of mine that I wrote down. So, I want you guys to use this paper where you wrote all these words to write your poem, okay? So, just like I taught you yesterday, I want you to know that writers use all of their senses when they're writing, and poets use all of their senses plus that little heart that we talked about, what they feel. So I hope that you guys put some things about how you felt when you were blowing the bubbles yesterday. I wrote happy and excited. Did any of you guys write anything like that you felt? In my seeing, I wrote rainbows. Did you guys see the rainbows in the bubbles? Usually you think of bubbles as being clear, but I saw some rainbows. Did you guys see that too? And of course, circles. And then I also said weird shapes because some of them were kind of weird shapes. Not all of them were circles. Okay. And then things that I heard popping when the bubbles popped. I heard laughing because we were laughing when we were blowing the bubbles. And it felt kind of wet and slick and slimy. Did anybody have those same words? Okay, so I want you guys to watch me. I'm going to take my big sheet of paper, and it's already folded in half for you, and I'm going to cut it into a bubble because today we're going to do what's called a shape poem. And I've already told you guys a little bit about shape poems, just like that football poem that I read to you. It was about footballs, and it was in the shape of a football. Today we're writing about bubbles, and our paper is going to be in the shape of a bubble. Okay, so get out your big paper and your scissors. And I want you to see there's a spot where it opens and a spot where it's folded. It does not open. You're going to cut on the spot that is folded. Okay, so you're going to do a half circle. If you want to draw it first, you can. So I'm going to start on the side that is folded, not the side that opens. And I'm just going to draw my best half circle. It doesn't have to be perfect. So do you guys see how I just drew a half circle? And again, make sure that it is on the side that is folded, not the side that opens, because if you do that, it's not going to work. Okay? Now, all I'm going to do is I'm going to cut on the line all the way down the paper. So watch me. I'm going to make my bubble. And I'm kind of cutting outside the line just to make sure that I don't get it too small because I kind of want it big. Okay, and so now it looks like this, just a half circle. And if I open it up, if I did it the right way, then I can open it up into a full circle. Now, what's fun about this is that everybody's circle will look different. Did every single bubble that you blew look exactly the same? No, I don't think so. Bubbles all look different. So yours does not have to look like mine. It doesn't have to look like anybody else's but your own. That's what's so fun, is that we should get a lot of different looking bubbles. Okay, so you guys are going to take this paper and you are going to make your shape poem on this paper. I want you guys to remember, you need a title at the top. This one has the title at the top, Bubbles. This one has the title at the top, Bubble Bubble. Okay, you don't have to call it Bubbles. You could call it something totally different. So for my title, I'm going to say the title of mine is Pop. And so I wrote it at the top, and I can tell that that's the title of my poem. Now I'm going to start writing my poem. Now, just like we talked about, poems look different. They don't look like you're writing in a book where you start all the way over here and go all the way to the end, and then start all the way over here and go all the way to the end, and so on until you get down. Poems can look however you want them to. So they could just be words going straight down. They could be words going around the circle. They could be words all over, okay? Or you could make them short lines like the one in the picture that I have up. You can do this however you want. There are no rules. But I do want you to take this paper where you wrote down some things that you noticed and try to use these words in your poems, okay? So I'm going to use, I said laughing and popping for things that I heard. So I'm going to use those words, and I'm going to say, let's see, we are laughing. And I'm not going to put a period or anything because poems are a little bit different. We are laughing. Rainbows. Remember I said I saw a rainbow, so I'm going to add that in. Rainbows floating in the air. Oops, I forgot the S. Okay. We are laughing. Rainbows floating in the air. I said feeling. I said happy and exciting, so I'm going to add one of those. Feeling happy. And feeling happy in my heart, because I said in my heart I'm feeling happy. What was I feeling on my hands? Kind of slimy. That could be kind of funny. Feeling happy in my heart. Feeling slimy on my hands. Slowly falling. I'm going to add an ellipses in here because we learned about it before, and I can use everything I've learned in writing anytime I do writing. So I said slowly falling, ... And then I'm going to say, just at the end, I'm going to say pop. And I'm going to use the big pop out words again too. So I'm going to make it really bold. Okay. So did you guys see how I used everything that I wrote down about things I noticed about my bubbles yesterday? I used that to come up with ideas for my poem, because all the words that I have on my senses paper, I added in to my poem. And I just made it sound a little bit better than just random words, right? I put my title at the top. And look at how my poem is written. It's definitely not looking like I wrote a story in a book. Some of my lines have 3 words, some have just 1 word. I have some ellipses and some pop-out words. I want you guys to use everything that you've learned about writing and everything that you've learned about poetry so far to try and write this poem. And it should be fun. So make it fun. Use all of your senses. Use your shape. And then after you've written your poem, you can draw a picture of some of the bubbles on the back. Don't forget your name, of course. You can put it on the back or on the front as long as your name is on it. And then on the next slide, there's a link to Flipgrid. And I want everybody to please share their bubble poems with me and the rest of the class on Flipgrid. And I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. I hope you guys liked mine. And I will see you tomorrow for some more poetry. Bye.